There is a manager in a restaurant in Abuja called Jerry. Before I continue, everybody will agree with me that attitude is everything. Attitude in you defines everything within you. You can fake your laugh and even fake people around, but you can't fake your attitude. So, attitude talk a lot about your personalities. Jerry is an attitudinal person. Also, is an influential person as well. He is well known as Mr. Attitude. No matter how the day went, Jerry would always put on smiles on his face. So he is always in a good mood and always has something positive to say. When someone would ask him how he was doing, he would always reply, "If I were any better, I would be twins." So because of his attitude, people always loved to be around him. When he quit the job as a manager, many of the waiters at his restaurant quit the jobs when he changed jobs. They followed him around from restaurant to restaurant. The reason the waiters followed Jerry was because of his attitude. He was a natural motivator. If an employee was having a bad day, Jerry would always there to cheer him, her up, and tell it to the person how to look in the positive side on the situation. So for me, seeing him with this kind of attitude engrossed my curiousness to ask him a question. So one day I went up to Jerry and asked him. When I got there, after long a conversation, he knew there would be something that brought me to him. So he looked at my face and he smiles, before he furthering to say anything. I say I don't get it. How could you be positive always? I say no one can be positive all of the time. How do you do it? And Mr. Jerry replied me. Each morning I wake up and I say to myself, Jerry, you have two choices. You can choose to be in good mood or choose to be in bad mood. But for me, I chooses to be in good mood always. That's the choice I make every blessed morning. So each time any bad thing happened to me, I can choose to learn from it or choose to let it break me down. But I always choose to learn from it, no matter how bad is the situation. So each time people come to complaining, I can choose to accept their complaining or I can point out the positive side of life. I always choose the positive side of life. But it's not always that easy, I asked. Yes, it is. Mr. Jerry said, life is about choices. When you cut all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how you react to situations. You can choose how people will affect your mood. You can choose to be in a good mood or bad mood. It's your choice how to live your life. Several years later, I heard something accidentally happen to him. I was told Mr. Jerry forgot to close the back door of his restaurant, so he left it open. So he was robbed by 3 armed men. While trying to open up the safe, his hand shaking from nervousness slipped off the combination. The robbers panicked and shot him. However, luckily Jerry was found quickly and was rushed to the hospital. After some hours of surgery and weeks of intensive care, Jerry was released from the hospital with fragments of the bullets still in his body. After some months, so I decided to ask him about the incident. I know this time around the attitude would change, so I walked to him. After a sympathetic greeting, I kicked off my question at him. I asked Mr. Jerry, how do you feel when you are shot? And he replied me, if I were any better, I would be twins. Want to see my scars? He asked me. I said no, I declined, but did ask him what had gone through his mind as the robbery took place. He replied me, said, what went through my mind is that I should have locked the door. Jerry replied, then after they shot me, as I lay on the floor, I remembered that I had 2 choices. I could choose to live or choose to die, so I choose to live. Were not you scared? I asked him. Jerry continued, the paramedics were great. They kept telling me I was going to be fine, but when they wheeled me into the emergency room and I saw the expressions on the faces of the doctors and nurses, I got really scared. In their eyes I could read, he is a dead man. I knew I needed to take action. So what did you do? I asked. Jerry replied, I said to myself I had 2 choices. I can choose to live and I can choose to die. For me, chose to live. So I told the doctors and nurses that they should continue operation with laughter in my face. I said I'm going to survive it. I would not die. So they did as I said. Jerry lived till today because of his attitude.